Welcome, ladies and gents. We are back. Brag with the Brand podcast where we discuss how your ideas turn into a side hustle and how you maintain it. Today, we've got another famous friend straight out of the boulevard of
Famous.
Summerstrand Boulevard area. This is like right over the ocean in our humble little small city of PE. Today, I'm kindly joined by Mr. Executive. How's it, my man? You all right?
I'm good, brother.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much
me.
for taking the time and have a chat with us. I know you're extremely busy, and I always appreciate all of our guests coming around just to have a little bit of a talk. It's always nice to meet a new face, even though I'm not meeting you for the first time, and it's always nice to hear the next person's story.
Okay.
So I'll extend a olive branch and give you a chance to say hi to all your followers and supporters right across the country.
Okay. First of all, hi.
Welcome back to my
Hello.
YouTube channel. Apologies. Welcome back.
Welcome
to my
back to his YouTube channel. Yeah.
Oh,
From my side, hello, hi everyone. It's an honor to be here. I say this because I haven't done something like this, and I always wanted to, but didn't know how to go about it. And also being invited here, I don't take it lightly because I'm like, this is something we need, not only in our city, but I think like amongst young people, amongst professionals, and amongst people that have businesses, man. It's not easy. You know, I've seen you in action. I've seen many guys that's built something from nothing. So this platform hopefully will help going forward to encourage people to see that almost like Rome wasn't built in a day type of thing, you know.
100%.
The hustle must always go on. So
Yeah.
from my side, honored to be here as a DJ, MC, entertainer, radio personality. That's my business or side hustle.
100%. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your kind words, and thank you to everybody that's been tuning in and hitting the subscribe button. We recently just passed 200. So compared to my TikTok, this is like minimalistic.
Okay.
But it's been a very challenging journey to get everybody, well, not everybody, but the majority of the people pick them up from TikTok and put them down in YouTube. I can see who's not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, is for free. I promise you, you don't need to enter credit card details or anything like that. But jokes aside, bro. So obviously, I've known you for a while. We've I don't want to say bumped heads, but we've rubbed shoulders on various platforms, various events. We've collaborated once or twice before in previous times. Where did it all start for you? If I had to take you way back, like where it actually started. This is what I want to do.
Okay, look, for me, when you say way back, I'm still very young, so it's not going to go too way back. However, I must start by saying, if you don't know me personally as Haylon or DJ Executive, so I do have a name, it's Haylon, or DJ Executive, you would know me as, I'm going to say it bluntly, Manose Salaiti, right? So in case you don't know who that is, Manose is a DJ in PE for years. So he is my dad. And I think it was bound to happen that I would follow his footsteps or be curious about the journey of DJing or the art of it, right?
Yeah.
So growing up, my dad has been in the scene. He went from clubs to corporates to, you name it, stages across wherever he's been there.
Yeah.
And growing
Shout out,
up,
Uncle. Shout out to you, definitely.
yeah. So growing up, I've always seen him in action. The equipment was at home. Music was always readily available. I used to help that time with burning of CDs. So remember Nero?
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
to
yeah.
burn a CD. My dad was playing that time. So I had a job of, you know, as a young one, you had the latest music. And it wasn't like it was now where you download, you had to like get it some. I can't really explain how you got the music back in the day with the MP3s. But if you had a song, I need to get it from you personally, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
And then put together this playlist. And it was audio series, which was like 13 tracks or 14 tracks on the album. And I was the guy that literally would burn the CDs for my dad, making sure that he has the latest music. Because it made me feel good, also part of it.
Yeah.
And for him, he used to make lives back in the day in Barbados. Shout out Barbados. And whenever he would come home, I would ask him, like, did you make a live? Whatever. And he'll say, yes, he has, maybe one. And just hearing the response, like, of people in the club and the music and stuff, just made me more curious about this and how I can go about it. And with that, I used to now make the CDs, had to write out the names, didn't have a printer and things. I would write track one, technology, Daft Punk or whatever, and just be part of that. And then through that, I was curious. So it was virtual DJ. I started playing on my Windows PC at the time, mixing, and it was bad. It was bad. It was like, I thought I'm doing good. I still had my hard drive from that time, and it's like, yo, what was I thinking? But it was, I think if I look back And I had to go through that process, man, you know?
Yeah.
And the older I got, I think I was probably 6, 7. My dad used to have a lot of open air events. So like your daytime parties
Yeah.
or corporates, you have like events at spa or
So
wherever.
break it down for, I have just letting you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I've got 2 people, I think they migrated from South Africa overseas. So I've got 2 loyal subscribers.
Yeah, yeah.
I shout them out, this is like the 4th pod in a row. Shout out to both of you.
Okay.
But just break it down for somebody that's not maybe in PE or in South Africa. What do you mean by the corporate layout or the
So
open air?
corporate is more not club, not event orientated. It's a wedding, a 21st, year-end party, like a staff party,
Yeah, yeah.
a team building, a activation, things like that. So
Yeah.
whatever happened during the day, I could go with. But
Okay.
when I went with, it wasn't immediately like you start playing, you start mixing, you start doing your thing, you were DJ. No, it started by cabling, rolling up cables, knowing why this cable goes into the speaker, why we use RCAs there, connecting, right?
Yeah.
And my dad was crucial on that because he knew that to get to a level of playing and understanding the field, I want you to do the basics and stuff. So it went on for a while, just connecting and watching him. And I always say in life that there's 2 times or 2 occasions where you can steal.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like I'm not encouraging anything else now, but
Disclaimer.
disclaimer, I'm not encouraging anyone, but steal with your eyes and steal with your ears. Meaning that during that time, as much as I was doing the minimal contribution and helping, I would watch, I'll take notes. Why that song was played now? What did he do? I mean, he had tenants at the time when I was growing up, TN 4000s, like a tape deck in a box. That box was so big, yo. And it's just 2 things in there. And he used to mix like that, listen, ear, and bring it in. And during that time, I would listen also attentively, but also watch actions, movements, and things.
You mean
And
from the crowd now?
no, him himself, like
Oh.
studying him for the art of it, you know?
Yeah.
And then through that, I used to say, give me show or let me see whatever. And my dad always encouraged me, like from anything I wanted to do in life. And it came to a point where he would say, I'm going to bathroom quickly or I need to do something. Play a song or play quickly the song next or something. Then I would go. At first, wasn't perfect, but the experience of it all. And from the moment I had that experience and seeing people's reactions, the smiles, the laughs, the dance moves, I was like, this is for me, man. Like, I want to do this. So through that, then I continued growing, like through music and through my art. And I pushed when I got to school or like end of primary school, high school. There was a time everyone was making mixes. So it was Fruity Loops, virtual DJ. We were putting out music. It was the days of BlackBerry. So it was easy to get internet. Data file host was a thing back in the day. So we were using data file host to upload mixes. It was easy, man. People could download your mixes and support you. And that's how I started like putting work out and putting things out there. And my real break came in one end of year, I think it was November, December period. We managed to get an event, a year-end party at ETC. It was like a
Yeah.
ETC there, close to Ginakumo, whatever. And my dad had another function on the same night, so he couldn't be there, but we still took the job. And he trusted me, man. You know, I had my laptop. He knew what I was doing on my laptop in terms of virtual DJ, and I had a big mixer. You know, we still have it, like a Yamaha mixer, straight line in, setup was up. And he trusted me, left someone just basic for transport for me, because obviously not driving at time at all, you're still young. And he had to just watch me and I had to play. And I carried myself from probably like 8 o'clock all the way till 12. Then actually the next year, the following year, they asked him, is your son available again?
Okay.
And at that stage, I knew I'm doing something right.
Yeah,
I need to do this.
Is
And
that still while you were in school?
yeah, while I was in school, I think I can't really trace exactly what year it was or which grade I was in, but I was at school. Like I said, it was obviously no clubs and things like that, but corporate vibe, which was the year-end party. And from there, I knew I had something. I kept pushing. And through that, I knew this is what I want to do. Maybe not full-time at the time, but I really wanted to be part of the industry. And I just continued. I continued pushing, continued helping him, learning more, and doing events. For the longest time, I would be side by side with my dad. Any wedding, any 21st, people got to know us like that. I was always with him, watching him, help set up, being there, you know, learning about everything before I branched out on my own.
Yeah.
So basically, if you look at where it comes from or way back, that's how it started. From daytime events, going with my dad, to bigger events where he actually left me alone. And now I am where I am today.
Okay, cool. Do you mind if I ask, so your own child?
No, I have a brother, but
Okay.
shout out to my brother, but he's not really like, he's into music, enjoys music, enjoys vibes, and he appreciates our craft and things, but he's never
Okay.
been someone to say, Haylon, please teach me to mix, or
Yeah.
wants to go with my dad or myself. Like, he's never been like that. So, I mean, everyone has its own path or own
No, for sure.
hobbies and goals and things. So,
The reason why I ask this is because when you're young, whatever dad is doing is interesting or the greatest.
yeah.
As a youngster, growing
Your
up. If
first
your
role
dad is
model. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Go for it.
Yeah, so like for me, I always will always pay tribute to my dad because where he is today and the fact that I had a platform. Like a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you had everything because you had decks, you had speakers," and I did. I had access to all of it, but it was hard work that he put in to have that for me. But also for me, what was important that as much as I had him to look up to, and I still do. I had to branch out at some point in terms of building executive or building my brand, and it took a long time. But wasn't overnight. In the wedding industry, in the entertainment industry, in clubs, it wasn't overnight. I think after I finished high school, went to university. That's only when I decided to play in clubs and do events and try to also make my name in that scene.
100.
Because I mean, I looked up to guys as well in the industry like your Sham the Funk, Benabi, Scene, Rob Deep. I mean, as a youngster, you look up at these guys. The guys are killing it. They're still killing it today. And I'm like, yo, I want to be in that lineup. I want to, whether I open for them, whether I play closing, I want to get there. But then I knew I had to, obviously, it took more work.
Yeah.
You had to now redefine who executive is, how you play, and constant practice. Like I would be at home, text will be up whenever I could, whenever I had a block day in terms of, done writing or whatever.
Yeah.
Just put it up and just mix, man.
Yeah.
Playing just to get where I want to be. So it was around, what was that, 2016? Yeah, where I started, 2016, 2017, clubs and events like P is very event orientated. So events, and then that's how I started pushing myself to get that backing of clubbing and all of that. Yeah.
I always ask this for the simple reason, the journey for each and every single person I've had here. But did you actually go? You said you mentioned college, right? You attended college.
Yeah,
after school.
university. Yeah.
University, sorry. So was there a formal education for the entertainment that you're in now, or no?
No, not at all. You always knew that this was never gonna be a full-time thing. I mean, this guy is killing it full-time now, and that's great. But realistically, that time is like you cannot just be a DJ. I mean, my dad has worked for years. He's still working, but he enjoys what he does. Like it's not part-time,
Okay.
But I've seen him go to work, come home on a Friday, get done, must go either to event or go to club late at the night, come home early hours in the morning, Saturday morning, he's up for a run we'll be doing, we put up sound for like a 5K or 10K run, you must put music, play there, come home, we offload that, the afternoon has a wedding again, so it's always been like a side hustle type of thing. So there was no formal education or anything like that. It was just, I always say, if you have it, you have it, and how you groom it, right? So some things you can't be taught, man. Having an ear for music, having timing. Yes, we all have different techniques, how we mix, how we entertain, but it's basically no formal thing. I haven't heard of guys fully going to like what do you call it, like classes and things like that. I think now there's DJ classes, there's DJ things, but I never had that really. My dad showed me few things that he've learned. I've watched other guys, like I mentioned. I remember my dad took me to Sham the Funk. I think she was staying in Malabar at that time. And it was one Saturday afternoon. I think she had a club gig or a party at home. So we took her one of our Yamaha speakers and then an amp for her. And then she hired, I think, either by that time it used to be Function Junction, I think 200 and 800 CD player, Pioneer CD player. Went in the room, saw her like playing there, and I was like, yo, look at us, like My dad always spoke well about it. Like there's this lady that wants to play and whatever, and that the reason why I mention that is because that also gave me that reassurance, man. Like self-taught, what you put in, you get out.
Yeah.
And then from there, they used to have this Splash Festival DJ competitions at Scene, Sham, Pena. I mean, I think there was a year that EVK, MSK, that point 0.5 group also did it. And that opened up my, yo, okay, look here. And all these guys are like self-taught, man. I'm sure, like Pena, all the guys have been around that's shown themselves, developed themselves, and where they are now without any formal training, I would say. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen and what I've learned, it's all what you do, how you want to do it, how much time you put in. So yeah, there wasn't really a formal training.
Another thing I want to ask you about, obviously I mentioned we've worked close by each other previously. I don't know if the viewers know, but
Yeah.
this is also something that you not only preach, but you practice also with encouraging messages or words of motivation to the generation to come. I'd like you to maybe share a bit of your thoughts where I will tell you that the numbers that we have for our small town of PE is quite decent. I don't want to say astronomical, but decent for people actually finishing school and graduating from a post-school environment like a college or a university or a ETC even, right? But the opportunities for us are so limited. Not that you can't get work, but I mean, we don't have the luxury of the bigger cities where you have like a whole office park for your industry, if I could put it that way, right? So if you could comment a little bit on the people that have actually qualified in one thing and are working in a different sector, if I could put it that way. It's more popular in our generation, if I could put it that way. What would you maybe have to say to them for the generation to come?
In thoughts or in regards to like guys that's qualified in a certain profession but they end up doing something else?
Yeah.
Look, my story is different. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I went to varsity, thought I knew what I wanted to study, did 2 years of that, and I was like, not for me anymore. Let me
What
change.
was it, if you don't mind sharing?
I did media and communications, which was MCC, or it's still MCC. Really, the reason behind it because I was media orientated, man. DJing, I wanna MC at some point. So I thought it was for me, but then I was doing like stuff I wasn't really enjoying, and I wasn't doing well, to be honest. And I thought to myself, after 2 years, what now? Don't want to disappoint the parents and all of that. So change course to HR. So I changed over to HR. I think something more I could relate to. But then again, also was a case of you need to just do something as well because you need to have a backup. You need to be educated, etc., etc. But from there, I started working also, and now I'm still like in the working environment. So my story is totally different from graduating and then staying in a profession. I found myself working in a profession I had no idea I would be in, but it taught me so much. But I would say to anyone that's finishing school and has a hobby, has a side hustle, anything in life can work for you. It's just how you go about it, the time you put in, the prep behind it. I always say to people that DJing is not, or I use example, DJing is not just what you do on the field, but off. What I mean by that, you can be a great DJ, you can be a great mixer, you can entertain the masses, but you're a brand at the end of the day. When you are not playing, people should be able to relate to you. People should be able to say, hey, there goes Menozai, there goes executive, there goes whoever, you know, by how you treat people, how you carry yourself, how professional you are, you know, are you on time, is your equipment right, all of that. So if you're willing to put in all the effort in terms of like whatever craft you have, it can only go well for you, but you got to put the work in. Yes, it's important to have a backup, but I always say if you love what you do and you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? 100%. And I've seen many people do what they love and do it well without having to do the traditional way, right? Some examples, good friends of mine, Pete and Monique, Technique Studio Photography, shout out. Reason why I do this is because I've seen them at a working level while pursuing their careers in terms of what they really want to do, photography, videography. Then I've seen them leave their jobs to go in this full time.
Yeah.
Maybe many didn't believe in them. They maybe didn't believe in themselves. But if you look now, years later, look where they're at. Like,
Yeah.
look how far they've come. They literally a household name. I wouldn't say I'm biased or have favorites, but the quality of work, the amount of work they get, the inquiries, the weddings, they up there. And that didn't happen overnight. They really love what they did, and they wanted to make it a full-time thing.
Yeah.
But they knew it's going to be sleepless nights. They knew how others are sleeping. They editing. They knew it's going to be constant upgrades with equipment as the events picked up, all of that, So what you put in, you're definitely going to get up. I've seen people do it. Another example, also shout out Bradley Goldman. Very educated, highly educated, but he's not working in his profession. Why? Because he thought, or he's seen a different perspective for his life and what he wants to do. And at the end of the day, you need to be happy, man. Happiness is very, very important. The last thing you want to do is go into a field where you're not happy.
Yeah.
Fix everything. I think balance of life and everything, like, you're just going to be off balance. So do what you love. Love what you do. And the rest is history, I think.
The rest is history. 100%. If you could break down or give me an executive response to determination, to describe determination to your dream, what would it be?
I use an example that motivation is knowing what you want, but also realizing what it takes to get it. So sometimes we are motivated to be the best DJ, to be the best photographer, to be the best events promoter. But do we realize what it takes to get it? We need to put in more work. We need to be different. We need to take time where others are maybe not focusing on that particular market, finding the gap. It's almost like if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten, type of thing. You constantly have to know, okay, I want this. So to be the best DJ doesn't mean I only play when I get booked.
Yeah.
When I'm off, I need to play an hour set, whether you play for your girlfriend, you play for your parents, whoever, right? Practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes permanent. What I mean by that is a case of, that you're going to get better over time, but you need to continuously craft. And that's where you will see, okay, my determination will continue growing. I feel like more motivated now. I've just seen someone do well. They're getting an award. They just won a competition. They're getting bookings. Why not me? Work, and more work.
I have something that I love by, and I'd maybe just like to share it with you. But across last year, I don't know if you ever stumbled across a video that I was putting out for Mondays and Fridays for mental health awareness. You don't get to moan if you didn't put in the work. You don't get to moan if you didn't put in the work.
Definitely.
There's a glass half full, half empty view to it, but I think determination also has a lot to do with your character. Like, I'm not saying that you or anybody else for that matter is lazy in the way that they do. I'm also not saying that because you see somebody constantly doing some form of networking or free marketing that they're focusing too much on that and being distracted from the end goal. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these are all things that we go through on a daily basis for people that have either side hustles or owners to their business, and it becomes tiring, it becomes nerve-wracking, it becomes frustrating, it becomes distracting, it sometimes becomes a problem as well, I've personally experienced a bit of all of the aforementioned stuff. I'd just like to maybe hear what would you say is a couple of your stumbling blocks from where you started, specifically as mentioned now, as a school kid up to where you are today?
Look, if I say stumbling blocks, I actually watched the video. Was it earlier or yesterday? I think it ties in with your message now about you don't get to complain if you haven't put the work in. When someone interviewed another highly successful person and they asked a question or they gave him a platform, and this guy said, I'm thankful for every part of my journey. Then the person said, well, what do you mean? Then he says, you don't get to choose the parts to be grateful for, right? Meaning that when things are good, I'm thankful for that times. When you manage to overcome something, that particular occurrence, you only can think about, you say, I'm thankful for that incident or that shaped me. But there were so many other things. Now, for me, there wasn't really challenges and obstacles. The reason why I say so, I still have a fantastic support system. I had the necessary equipment to equip myself. I've always been blessed in that regard. Not many others can say the same. So I'm grateful. I don't take it for granted, definitely. So the only thing I think I probably struggled with a bit is myself. The reason why I say that's that in anything you do in life, sometimes you feel like you're not good enough. There's better guys out there. And changing your perspective to a point where I'm only in competition with myself. I need to be better than I was yesterday. That will change your life. Because the comparison is like the thief of joy, man.
Yeah.
The minute I said, but this DJ is doing so well, she can mix this way, he can mix this way, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it. You know, typical example, make always a joke, scratching, I'm not the best, I can't even really get it, and I always wanted to do it, but I'm like, it used to like hit me like, do I need that to be better? Or can I find something that makes me unique? And through that, you learn, okay, I can't maybe do that as well, but there's something else I can do what they can't do. But then again, I'm not doing this because I want to compete or I want to overshadow anyone else. I'm just here to be better than I was yesterday. So any challenges you have, it will come. Things will test you, but your response to it. If you can look up, you can get up. Nothing's not ever like that bad that you either have to give up or turn around. It might just take you a bit longer, but you can still get there to the end destination. So for me personally, there wasn't really as much stumbling blocks, challenges, but there was that moments that I had with myself, like, should I continue? Should I carry on? Am I good enough? And if I look back, I'm glad I never gave up. I'm glad I never turned around.
Were there sometimes you wanted
Yeah,
to throw in the towel?
I wouldn't. There were times where I thought, this is not for me anymore. I wanna let go. Various things happened in my life where I was like, maybe I'm focusing too much on this. Maybe I must just go back, study more, do that. But I was also happy, and I wasn't happy. And I was like, and maybe bookings were taking it a while. I wasn't often booked. Various things, but if I look back now, I'm glad I never gave up on a stream of mine, because to be part of people's joy, to share with a special day like weddings. I always say I do weddings for a living, but it's because I do a wedding probably every Saturday, and I'm not even joking. And when I look at that, it's not easy for someone to say that, because a wedding is a big event in people's lives, and they take care, or they think highly of you to make you part of their day. They could choose any service provider, any entertainment, but if they knock on your door and they say, listen, we've thought about it, we're planning our wedding, we want you to be the DJ, we want you to be the MC. I feel honored, because it's a very special day, it's a big day. And for me to be part of that is something else. And that's why I enjoy what I do. I've been privileged enough to be Eastern Cape's top service provider in terms of wedding industry. There's like a organization, a book, whatever, that does surveys and things every year, I think, and every 6 months, something like that. 2021 I got it, 2023, 2024, and earlier this year for the winter edition or something, ending of last year. So your weddings you did between last year, July, up until December, got I think just a recognition of top service provider in the wedding industry again. So that just shows me that I'm doing something right. You know what I mean?
100%. Congratulations.
Yeah.
There's always a level of interest and confusion for me when it comes to things like this. And this is not a funny thing I'm saying, but you get so tied up in your routines, not only in work or as your side hustle, but you get tied up in your routines or your habits, if I can put it that way. You need to drink coffee before you get to work, or you need to smoke a cigarette before you go in the door, whatever it is, that you you almost become obsessed with your industry, if I can put it that way. Once you get into your industry, whether you a mentioned figure or recognized or not, you get to familiarize yourself with the accolades that go across with your industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, it's always interesting to hear what the following industry is, right? I don't know if you're a movie or a series person, but
Yeah.
if you actually look at it, American football is arguably one of the most physical, life-threatening, death-defying, terrific, entertaining sports that you can get.
Yeah.
But one of the highest accolades you can get is a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, if you compare that to the streets that we roam on a daily basis, one of the most popular things you would see is a ring. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no disrespect to that. If you had to look over at something like boxing, which has definitely traveled the ages and peaks itself through different science circles, entertainment, etc., what is your highest accolade? The World Heavyweight Championship belt. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting for me personally. I also like how the I don't want to say the selection process works, but what is the word I'm looking for? How you basically get accepted to enter the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because as you said personally in your story, there were a few times we were thinking, hey, maybe I should, take a short left or a short right. Maybe this isn't for me. And then fast forward, I don't know, it was probably took a few years, I would assume, or a few months, but then you're rubbing shoulders with people considered to be at the top of the pile. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely, yeah. It's something else. You look back, not giving up, and where you are now. Like I've been doing the most in terms of the certain entertainment industry with weddings and corporates. I've done big openings of new.
Are you able to shout out a few that you've maybe done before?
In terms of like corporate, I remember I've always done good work for S4, the company. They're quite big.
The IT company.
IT company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they built their own building there. I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
That that opening for them, I always look at that because that company is something else. Personally, I haven't worked there, but from the morale
Very advanced.
and what they're doing for the city is, I've done your splash festivals as a MC, as a DJ. I've done opening of the season. I managed to travel for weddings outside of PE, which is a big thing for me. I don't take it lightly.
Yeah.
So I might have not won like competitions and things like that, but I look at accolades differently. How you leave your mark.
Yeah.
How you position yourself within the industry, how people see you, and those are things people can't take away from you.
100%.
No matter what you do, how you go about it, when you step into a room, who you are before you can open up your mouth tells a story already. So for me, constantly working myself in that way is very important. When you see me on the decks, where do you see me in the shop, where do you see me the gig, I'm the same person. Relatable and a people's person.
Yeah.
I go by a saying that's without you there's no me. It's not just a saying.
No, wait.
Yeah.
You have to do it properly. Just look in the camera quickly.
No, look, for me,
Give me a moment. Give me a moment for the podcast. Tell me. Let me
I go by a saying that's without you there's no me. It's basically coming with my dad.
Yeah.
All the years had the same thing. We believe in the people. We
Yeah.
believe in every booking, in every person. If it wasn't for you, we would not be booked. Whether you attend the club, DJs are there because of you. You paid entry fee, they can get paid, and they're there to entertain you. You cannot have a saying like that and not give back and say thank you to the people that has put you there. It's like whatever you do, whatever we do is like we always pay tribute. Without you, there's no me. I can kill a crowd of 1,000 people, 10,000 people, but if they didn't decide to rock up, who am I? I could have the best skills, but wouldn't mean much.
Yeah. What's your biggest number physically? Crowd.
I think if you take it back, Splash Festival and your opening of the season, that's your biggest crowd. I don't know biggest number, like the number itself, but it's quite big.
Approximate.
So over the thousands, I think. I know opening of the season last year was quite big. MC there from like 2 o'clock right until the fireworks. So that was amazing.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be my biggest crowd. But I also enjoy the intimate crowd. You know, sometimes the smaller events, very nice. You get to experiment more. You get to really connect with your crowd, your people, and that's for me what it's all about, man.
So, if I understand this correctly, you're saying in excess of 1,000 people for the splash,
Yeah,
right? This is apart from the body of your work. This is your weddings where you meet, I don't know, John Peter Paul.
Yeah, weddings average probably guess 120 guests every Saturday or so. That's your average. Sometimes the same people, sometimes different people, depending on the demographics. But your average wedding people in guests is about 80 to about 120. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, what I want to ask you is, what is your after work situation like? When I say you're after work, you DJing at the splash now, and like you say, whether I see you in the mall or I see you in the shop. So does anybody ever come up to like, "Hey, aren't you that, bruh?"
I think I'm not that famous to be honest,
You
but
like,
I've had certain occasions where they would approach me or say, "Hey, how's it?" or like a set or photo or whatever, and yeah, those small
This guy
things.
doesn't like to admit his numbers. I'm
No,
telling you, this is now like a off the camera, on the camera moment. We've had this conversation a couple of times, man.
small things.
You know what, my brother? I'm gonna tell you straight up. You must appreciate your audience. It started off as I don't want to say teasing or busting chops or whatever the case may be, but I think you deserve a title, my famous friend. You definitely do. I'm
thanks,
gonna
man.
get into it a little bit more now with regards to how you become not my famous friend, but in general to get the name out there. So what I want to touch on is you've got a different way of doing your marketing and your networking, right? This is not saying that you're right and I'm wrong or vice versa, but you do it differently to what I do mine, you know? As you mentioned before, and the conversations that we've had leading up to today, it's difficult for where I am now with a podcast to advertise. I had you here, I had the previous guest or the previous guest, you know, for me to advertise something like that. But the different media businesses that I had before, like my media business, it's a different ball game, a different sport completely. It's different target market, if I could put it that way. What does your process look like when it comes to that? I would assume that your past performances would play a big factor, and then also not personal preference, what do you call it? Word of mouth.
Yeah, look, I would always say word of mouth. My dad has been in industry now plus 20 plus years. Yes, he has Facebook, he has, I think he got TikTok now also and things. But before that, word of mouth is crucial. It's free advertising. It's less effort based on your last performance. There's no second chance for first impressions type of thing.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing has been word of mouth. I've played at weddings where single people get engaged, get married, and then they book me. That same wedding, it's your mom's 50th or 40th or your cousin's 21st, because they see you perform and they approach you.
Yeah.
So it's continuation from a previous event.
Okay.
I do have social media like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and things, but I try to, but then I get so busy that I end up not updating or posting a event or something, you know. I try to like put out, especially like my setups in terms of how professional it is, what we get to offer, you know, all of that on Facebook so people can see almost like you're building up like a CV or portfolio. But most of the time, word of mouth. That's it, you know, for me personally. We aren't PE, GQ, so it's not as like.
Do you only service PE or
No, I service all over, but I'm saying it's not a case of like you need to go hardcore with media, like in terms of advertising or paid advertising. Things been made so easy. You can post your picture on Instagram or your story, and then people can reshare it from there. TikTok's been amazing.
Yeah.
I was scared to use it, but I mean, now I get comfortable and I'll make a video that's funny, and then 2 days later I'll post my actual content like a DJ video. But because we had funny video, people already on the page, they subscribe or followed or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's foot traffic there,
Yeah.
So I need to do more, but most of the time it's word of mouth now and then social media.
Interesting you bring it up. Sorry. Interesting you bring it up because, as I said before, there's no right or wrong in our two different industries that we basically follow, But for me, the digital part or having the what is the word? I'm so hard on myself with it.
No, man.
The digital part of advertising is taking over the world in many shapes and forms. For me, that's doing so much in the digital space. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of contribution, basically, from everything and everybody that's around you. So what I'm asking you is, what is your circle like?
Circle in friendships, family, what?
Your circle. I don't classify my circle as only friends or only family. What does your circle look like
Look,
to keep you going?
For me personally, I have a small circle. I think the older you get, I'm not once again very young, but the older you get, the more you realize quality over quantity type of thing, And those support you, support them. But it must be a natural occurrence, man. Like, I don't do things because you did it. It's like I want to. And over time, you see that if you have a side hustle and your friends or your people that you consider friends are not supporting you, then are they really worthy of like keeping around or being around with? I mean, it might sound selfish to others, but for me in this day and age, if you can get at least, if you have 5 friends to support you, it's a start to a business, So my circle is very small. It just consists of close friends, probably like 10 I can mention on names. I have a lot of acquaintances, people I will probably say hello to, chill with, but that doesn't mean like we're going to go out the way for them. And then obviously my intimate or immediate family, which is now my parents, my brother, and so on. That's, I consider my circle or my support structure,
Yeah.
It's not DJ executive and many more. Like the stage is full of, tech rider here and whatever.
No, for sure.
None of it.
See, one more thing I just want to touch on before we get ready for the commercial break is everybody has an image.
Yeah.
Right? There is certain stuff that you do without recognizing that you're doing. Right? So I know you're not going to take offense to this. It's not an embarrassing moment or anything, but you've got a way with words.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've told you this before, but you've got a way with words. And for those of you that have been watching the channel, I don't know if you remember me doing this with Lolo made me do it because of our thing with socks. This is the I don't want to say the shoe guy, but he's one of the tacky sneaker guys.
No, I wouldn't say really.
You like sneakers. Compared to me, you like more sneakers. I think you have more sneakers.
I like sneakers, but I wouldn't say I'm a sneaker guy, man, really.
Not a sneaker guy.
I would say like, sneaker guys are the guys that now go out
I've seen you with shoes once in my life.
Bidding on a techie, waiting for a techie's release.
I don't mean like that.
The techies is in a container and stuff like that. But I get you. Okay, so you're trying to get to an image thing, like how do I construct my image or whatever?
I want you to explain what goes into creating an image and then mention what you would like to be remembered for. So I mentioned you as a sneaker guy now. This is completely off topic, but let's just say you aspire to be the prettiest blonde on the block. And then what it actually took to entail to keep that up, that appearance. Because your word of mouth is part of your advertising. You can't advertise, or let me say, you can't aspire to be a certain thing and then expect it to be carried over by word of mouth, but you didn't meet the first factor there.
Look, if we talk imaging, for me, it's a bit difficult to put it in words. Reason being is that, like I mentioned, I do mostly weddings every weekend. I do corporate and stuff. So I have a different vibe where I'm always wearing a pants, shoe, shirt. That's me. I don't really buy like your casual clothes because for me it's a case of if you buy a quality shirt, it must be a case of it must serve a purpose during the week in terms of maybe to work or whatever, but I can use it on a weekend or a wedding or something, right? So for me, that's me, like more semi-formal, formal type of person.
Okay.
It's now and then I'm trying to keep up with the trends. You see the guys wearing these pants and techie. So I try
what's your favorite clothing brand and what's your favorite sneaker brand?
Sneakers, back in the day, I used to like Nikes a lot. I think it changed as I became more simpler. So like I enjoy a nice Puma now for the design, and like your slipstream type of design. I like that.
Okay.
And
Clothing brand?
clothing depends. Look, I was a big Fabiani guy, but nowadays I don't know. I'm not so like as busy.
Yeah.
With like or going to the store as much as I used to. But I would say Fabiani is a clothing side of things.
Okay.
Sneakers can be all over. If something's appealing or I like it, I'm gonna buy it.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna match now. Puma. No, I'm not
Okay.
gonna do that.
I was there for a stage, but anyway.
It's nice, yeah, but like maybe a tracksuit I will match. But other than that, no.
Shoutout Fabiani for that one.
Yeah. Have you done some work with or for Fabian?
No, I
Not
just
yet.
support. Shout out Terrence. He's always my stylist there. I come in. The reason why I support shops like that, for instance, now my dad was. I don't know if you remember. Greenacres used to have a shop called Romans, right? It's not a pizza, like a normal
was
store.
thinking
It's your
about it.
old entrance. You walk on the left hand side where
Plastic clothes.
classic your Carlo G, Pringle, that stuff.
Shout out to Pringle.
And he used to only, even now, he still have that shirts. Man, he used to only go to work with Pringle, Carlo
just shopping
G,
all.
only it. And you walked in there, shop was small, probably the size of a garage, but walk in, hi sir, how are you? Mr. Varu, whatever, like it. They know you by name, they speak to you nicely. When they need help, they take 3 shirts out for you and they say to you, what do you think, whatever. That
You like the
personal touch,
attention,
that
personal
attention.
attention.
They closed down because I mean it wasn't a popular shop. Not
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
was buying from it. I mean Pringle was expensive, probably still is. And then Fabiani opened around about that time. My dad moved over. I also now starting to get my own way of clothing, whatever. And from that time, when you walk in there, it's always, hey, welcome back. Listen, we got this new stuff this side here. Don't go check it. Let me go check it at the back here. Yes, this.
Okay.
That personal shopping experience is what's it about sometimes, man. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
attention to detail. I'm having a wedding on Saturday. I bought this pants by Markham's, but what can I match with? Okay, take this shirt, this blazer, whatever.
Okay.
Quick, man, without you, because the guy, you don't always know how to style the things. Yeah, you have now your partner that helps you, but in a store, it feels good to be like dressed up by someone else as well. That's appreciative that you're paying for the thing, but they're also helping. You know, you walk into bigger stores and you just, where's this? Can someone
That's just some goals right here.
you know,
I need to
so-
get, where's HR? The wardrobe department?
Yeah, but you need to look at that, man. You
Yeah.
know those things or
Nah, for
a
sure.
WhatsApp away. Just keep it. I saw it online. Is it in the store?
Yeah.
No, but I'm gonna order it and then come fetch it on Tuesday. I work till 4:30. Can I be there at 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait for you.
Yeah.
So things
No,
like that you look at, man. You have time management type
Yeah.
of thing. You plan your life around simple things.
Convenience, we're going to get to just after the break. I just wanted to give us not a serious moomish. You know what a moomish is?
No. You must explain.
You don't
now.
know what the moomish is. So I want you to give us a giggle moment here. What is the weirdest thing? You don't have to say who got married or where they were married. What was the craziest thing you've seen somebody do at a wedding?
Craziest thing.
Yeah. There must be some, I don't know if he is just naturally funny, he went to go sit down at the wrong table, or I don't know, maybe he had a little
I
bit
played
too
for a
much punch
wedding.
or
I
something.
played for a wedding a year or two ago. Right, it was at a certain venue close to the beach,
Yeah.
and it was an integrated couple. You know, white, colored, come together.
Okay.
Music was vibes. You get to that point of you're now 50 CDs. You know, back in the day there used to be a CD called Now. It's called abbreviation for Now. That's what we call music.
Yeah.
né? It's your Pitbull and your
Okay.
Neo, whatever.
Yeah.
So it gets to that part of the night. I'm going for it, I know you want me and all that stuff. And these guys start taking the shirts off, man. But like,
Hectic.
one by one. I took one, shirt win. Next one came, he literally took it off for him. But in their own way, like, making it lekker now, they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
The ladies, their wives are standing there like, Nia. They carrying on. And they going like us. And then they threw their shirts one way. The one didn't know
How
if
the
their
guys-
shirt went. That's because now a small is that side, a medium is there. They can't find their stuff, but they did. And they're
Oh, so
taking
you
their
mean they
stomachs.
like color graded now?
Yeah.
Everybody's white shirt.
Yeah,
maybe?
white shirt is gone, and then they busy dancing with their stomachs, and they busy rubbing each other, and they dance with it. It was vibes, and they were probably lekker intoxicated, which was liquor because the wedding was so nice. But that was probably the weirdest thing I thought. I didn't expect to see it out of nowhere. It's like unbuttoning and they just like dancing like that. And the women were like, no, like, what are you guys doing? So that was probably the funniest thing. Some of the speeches is usually quite funny. It's always that one uncle that makes your night because he wants to say something, and when he gets up there, he just goes for it. So yeah, but
Do people like you see in the movies? This is also now, but into the wedding, so we
Object.
get into it. Object, and there's always like somebody that never gets to say what they want to say at the wedding. So like this is the microphone, I'm talking. You know, I've been knowing, and somebody's like, can I know? I have a turn to say something. Have you ever experienced something?
no one ever object. Thank goodness, all weddings went according to plan. And I think, remember when they say if there's any legal impediment why these two should not be joined by marriage, right? That's a question.
Yeah.
So that thing basically means legally, is there something? Now, legal can either be you married to someone else or something else. I don't know what's the other one. So now they always make jokes and say, legally, is there any reason? There could be other reasons, but not about to talk about it. That's why I think no one objects. That's my observation.
Okay.
So it hasn't been anything like that. Speaking, it's always the one lady probably or uncle that says something and then goes overboard and about to say something wrong, but we're always on standby to either cut the mic or take the mic. But I've seen that.
Have you ever got? I'm sorry, I'm dragging this commercial.
No.
Sorry. Have you ever got to the
Let's
point?
go full force.
No, we take the. Okay, we'll go as long as we can. But have you ever got to the point where you at a corporate event, a corporate setting? Let's just say you're playing D3 Media staff party one day, and you get too carried away, or you're at a wedding. And you get a bit too carried away to the point like you forgot, like, hey, bro, I'm actually working here. Like, maybe, we all have those moments. We all have those moments where you like kind of like let go into the vibe now, you're getting it in. Or maybe you play your own favorite song and the people enjoy it more than you would normally enjoy it.
Look, to be honest, it's not a often occurrence.
Yeah.
But there has been moments. Shout out to a good friend of mine, Kai.
Okay.
He had, I think, probably arguably one of the best weddings in terms of vibe, man.
Yeah.
It was one of those where from the moment they walked in, you knew it's gonna be liquor,
Yeah.
And being your friend, at that time we weren't as close as we are today, but I always say at wedding was something else because we were playing, the vibe was liquor, we were dancing, and obviously you enjoy yourself. I mean, Sham was also there, so Sham played a set, like a quick set. It was like we were in a club, but it's a wedding, and then and obviously you enjoying yourself. So I got carried away a bit. So yeah, but everything went well. I don't ever like shy away from my duties, but I got a bit carried away, but not often.
We're human at the end of the day. We're human at the end of the day, you know. Last one. Then we're going to the commercial break. Apologies. What is it like? Are you a foodie? Do you like to eat in general?
Yeah, look,
I don't mean
everyone likes to eat if they can.
No, I mean not eat to survive. Are you like you a foodie? I'm a foodie.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a light foodie, not deep.
Like to peso.
No, I can eat, but I'm thinking now I'm not gonna. Okay, let's carry on maybe. Then I understand.
So this is like somebody that likes to what is this? Finger snack? I think is the English form.
Okay, no. Give me a meal. That's fine. No,
you like a meal.
Foodie.
So how is this like with you and events? Because first things first, you still have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Before and I like right now. But you have similar to me, well, in different industries, but after work you've got another work. So you're going to work now again, right?
Yeah.
So you go to work in the morning, you pack a lunch, whatever the case may be. You get to the other work now, which is the second work.
Yeah.
How does this situation work? Because your body, as I said earlier, you get into routines and habits and ways of doing things that kind of grows on you, right? So let's just say for the past, realistically now, I don't know, but say for the past 11 months, you work Monday to Wednesday, Thursday your first gig starts, Friday you had a bigger event, and then Saturday, if you're not at work, you've got now a thing that goes through the middle of the night. So I just want to know, like, what would you say is your eating patterns like during that time?
Look is a bit all over the place. During the week, most of the time I take to work lunch, whether it be bread or the supper the night before.
Yeah.
I've started now also taking fruit and things, packing nice lunch for me. But
Shout out to that special lady.
so then that'll happen. And
Yeah.
then weekends, I'll obviously be treated with very good meals from
Yeah, yeah.
different venues. You know, it's
Okay.
3-star. I'm not a dessert guy, so I'll always have like starters and then the main meal, but never dessert. I'm not a
No sweet tooth.
yeah, I will need to have that craving for something. Like Sunday past, I was craving a custard slice. Just woke up with it. And I made sure I got one that day, but I wouldn't out my way like every time or eat. But yeah. So my patterns, I'm always eating liquor, I would say. I know already what's to come at certain venues and the certain caterers I know.
Yeah.
And then I know, okay, tonight
Does
is that
this,
night.
obviously you're in the entertainment business, so this gives you a lot more, what is my word? A lot more insight into different industries. Off the top of my head, if you're doing activation for a bank, you would see more than the average consumer playing for them.
Yeah.
And there's always some behind the counter
Yeah.
scenes or some things that are happening behind the counter that's not actually
Yeah.
regularly available or visible
Yeah.
to the public.
Yeah.
Do you get exposed to a lot more food or menus in this aspect of the
Yeah,
business?
no,
or
definitely. I've always said, man, it's been a privilege to be in this industry because you see places, you
Yeah.
taste food, you eat stuff you never really had before. I mean, it's an experience, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Any DJ that has a partner, and the partner decides to go with to
What do you
most
mean
of the
partner now?
events, like a
girlfriend or partner in
a
crime?
girlfriend or
Okay.
wife or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and they go with,
Okay.
especially like the weddings, 21st or corporate events,
Okay.
I would call it an experience. I mean, it's gonna be a proper date night because
Okay.
besides like you working, the food is
Yeah.
always immaculate. I
Okay.
mean, so yeah, no, I've seen.
Are
I've
you're
seen
giving us a dating tip? You always make sure there's
date
good
the
food.
DJ and then
Yeah.
go with to like a wedding or something.
Ayo.
Don't stay at home, wait for him to
Support
come
the
home. Yeah, support the hustle fully. This will be a plate for you. That's the dating tip. That's also help the DJ not
Yeah.
take you out during the week because now already made sure Friday, Saturday sorted
Okay. Okay.
without spending, you know. So yeah.
Just comment down below. Make him start how to date a DJ YouTube
How to
channel.
stay in the mix. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
how to stay in the mix. 100. I think we're gonna just take a quick commercial break now. As I said before, this few episodes are sponsored. Shout out again to Neighborhood Bar and Grill, Stanley Street.
Yes, shout out.
Definitely. We're gonna be right back, ladies and gents, after a short break, eh? Ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Brag with Your Brain. Today's episode and a few more episodes to come have been proudly sponsored by the Neighborhood Bar and Grill out in Stanley Street. Please feel free to check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. They've got some amazing specials on their food during the week. Burgers, pastas, and subs. Really, really nice. If you haven't been out and about yet, go up onto the channel and check out the food review I done on Burger Night. Once again, all activities are at owner's risk. Please enjoy safely. No under 18 is admitted. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Neighborhood Bar and Grill, Stanley Street. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Brag with Brand podcast. I'm kindly joined today by TJ Executive. So, just a quick intermission break there. And this part of the pod is where we kind of we take the fences down a little bit just to kind of get to know you, what, who, where, what you're comfortable with sharing, etc. And I just want you to tell us a bit about your music selection. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios where you can just basically guide us through what goes through your selection or your thought process building up to the actual event.
Yeah.
So if you had a corporate event for our year-end function, let's use a year-end function because you've done quite a few before. What is your thought process that builds up to your selection of music?
I think as a DJ, you need to be able to read a crowd because that's why you can prep, but you never know until you step on the stage what's going to go down, right? So for me, preference-wise, I always read the crowd before the time. There's going to be testers. I always throw 3 different songs in between just to see what gets the best reaction.
Okay.
And you go with the most popular songs, and I say most popular doesn't have to be new.
Yeah.
It's songs that would get that guy, that lady, that guy, that lady on the floor at the same time.
Okay.
Focus on the minute the floor is full. You can always bow to where you want it to be or break up where you need to be, right? Take breaks, play this, play the piano, play this. But for the first 15 minutes, I would always say, build your set or your stage or your floor on the stuff that will work for everyone. Could be old, could be new, but
Yeah.
important to read your crowd before the time. A lady soul might work at this event, but necessarily won't work as a start for song at another event.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
100%.
a local song might work here, but maybe a piano song will work there. So
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
your crowd.
Okay.
Knowing what they like. Do research, meet with your client, meet with the corporation, say, hey, how's things here? What's the vibe like? What's the morale like? No, yeah, they like that. You see that crowd there, they like local. You know, that crowd, they Afrikaans, you know, and that's how you build it. So you know when to take breaks, you know when to plan, how to plan your set.
You've obviously also, similar to me, we both had corporate jobs. I'm not in the corporate world now at this present moment of recording, but there's always an office clown and there's always an office manager, whether it's the actual manager or just the person that talks a lot that, you know,
Yeah.
I run the show, if it's not okay with me, it's not okay. Is this part of reading your crowd? Because obviously, I would assume that if this person is not happy, there's always also somebody that brings the life to the party. This
Yeah.
might not be the most exciting or the most
Yeah,
energetic
focus.
person in the office.
Focus on someone you see, perhaps, like in a scenario like this. Focus on the person that you can see. They're here to have a good time. They're not
Yeah.
here to waste money and waste time. They're here to have a good time. They'll even come up to you and say, hey, thank you for being here. You rock, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Focus on that person. That person comes on the dance floor. That person will encourage others to say, hey, why are you boring? Come.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you build from there. You can, yeah. Like on the office clown, usually the person. Or the person that loves enjoying themselves. Dance like no one's watching, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the dumber the venue is, the better. You know, no one wants to really dance with lights and things.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm that person as well. My moves look better when it's darker.
Your moves.
Yeah, like you know, behind the decks, you know.
Yeah.
when
Let's
it's- but
let's see. Maybe he's
no,
gonna give
no,
us a
no,
sneak
no,
peek.
no,
No
no,
sneak
no,
peek.
no, nothing.
Not today. Okay, sorry, we can't afford a sneak peek.
Not
here,
no
ladies and gents.
performance today, but yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. When you go ahead with your preparation process, like you're saying now, right? Does your attire play a part in this? Like you said before, you have a way that you need to be presentable,
Yeah.
but you also need to be relaxed, right? So there's a whole bunch of different DJs that I listen to. There's a whole bunch that I know. On a personal level, there's a whole bunch that obviously we rub shoulders, we see each other, we meet each other, we support each other as far as we humanly can. Is there like an unspoken code for the formal dressing scene? Because this, in my experience, from what I'm seeing, is not like very popular, if I could put it this way.
Yeah, look, know
When I
your
say
event.
formal, I mean like shirt and
Yeah,
pants.
know
not
your
formal, formal.
event, especially weddings. A lot of times the couples are going for this all black theme. Make sure you ask for the invite or what your theme is when you discuss the songs and stuff with the couple, because
Okay.
you don't want to rock up to an event that's black, but you're wearing a blue T-shirt or a blue shirt or what, a blue suit, for instance. Yeah, you're not part of the wedding like
Yeah.
as guests, but try to match the aesthetic.
You
And it
never had a
helps a lot.
Kanye West moment yet, where everybody's all in black and you rock up there.
I did.
with
That's
yellow
why I
sneakers.
did. So that's why I was actually far away from home, so I couldn't go home and change. But
Okay,
just made it work.
made it work.
Stayed in my place, didn't move much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I waited for everyone to leave and I'll go to the bathroom or whatever. But I stayed in my block. I have this screen I have in front of me, and that was that thing.
I wanted to ask you also, but seeing that you brought this up, what do you do if you're like in the middle of your set and you need to go pour water or something?
Mix the next song
Okay,
to give enough time for you to go, and you run.
you run.
Yeah, you run.
Okay,
Song plus minus song is 4 minutes when you run.
okay. So you need to kind of figure out your
Quick,
bearings
so
like
you already
before you
know
on the decks.
that corner there is about. Go
Yeah.
out there. Okay, song comes in, and you go.
And you go.
And you go.
All right. So there's a fitness aspect to this
Yes,
as well.
definitely. That's why I think I'm quite
Okay.
fit.
Okay. So an active is, come talk to my guy. Come talk to my guy.
Ah, no.
So just the last part about the journey that I'm very interested in on. I've always had this thing for radio stations,
Yeah.
right? How long has it been now?
I can't keep track now. I started my radio journey. When was it? I was on a radio station, online radio station, was called Man-Made Radio. Before I went to now where I'm currently at Bay FM, but
Okay.
I was a
Shout out
Man-Made.
Bay FM.
Shout out Man-Made, shout out Bay FM. I was
Shout
there
out Man-Made.
for think man made a year or so. Made a move to by FM. Then I was on night school, not night school, night cap. Mondays 9 till 12 in the evening. Oh, it was
What's
a
your
lot.
slot now for the
Now
viewers?
currently I run Sundays 9 till 12, which is your soulful music, music for the mind, body, and soul. We loves the message and the message in the music.
Hey,
Then also on a Monday night, change the whole aspect. It's called Make It Shake Monday. That's where we let loose, and I give you just what the doctor ordered. After Blue Monday or after Terrific Monday, I still got you covered for non-stop music, a little bit of conversation, and anything in between. Mainly vibes. I supply vibes from 6 till 9. So that's Monday evening, Sundays, relax, going to chapel, on your way from chapel, busy cooking. In the house, you may be doing a cleaning. If you had a party night before, I'm your guy. Every song has a message and it's very slow, turned down. We jazz here and there, but that's what I'm currently doing on BFM.
Okay.
So I can't say how many years I'm there now, but it's been a journey. Been a journey. Radio, I'm still learning. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. I recently had the opportunity twice, I think, for this year. Twice for this year to have, even though it was just an interview, it's something I've checked off my to-do list.
Yeah.
So that was like incredible. I think the word incredible is being downplayed
Yeah.
in sports. But when I say incredible, there is very little to separate you growing up.
Yeah.
Like one day I would like to do that and actually achieving it. What can you tell us about how you celebrate your achievements?
I take a moment. Any achievement in life, I take a moment. I recognize the work put in. I recognize who was there during the time I was putting in the work.
Okay.
And I recognize the idea that I've reached this now. You know, so all of that I tick off, I take a moment, and then from there, that's how I celebrate it.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna round up with just a few. What would you prefer? Would you rather?
Hope it's not like smash or pass or anything like
No,
that.
no. We're not there. yet.
Not
We're
that
there
kind of
yet.
podcast.
No, not that type of podcast.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because I would have
So-
passed.
Overall, what would you say? Are you more of a sneaker or a shoe dude?
Sneaker.
Sneaker.
I have my collection of shoes, but sneaker, yeah. Comfortable.
What is your biggest collection at
No,
home?
no.
No. The other question. What is your biggest collection of at home? It doesn't have to be shoes, but what is the thing that you collect at home?
Toy cars. No, I'm kidding, but I do it.
Oakleys or Ray-Bans?
No. Yeah. Someone said Specs labels. Eyes are tested. Yeah, I would say I don't have the choice, luxury to choose between Ray-Ban and Oakley, because then it has to go for testing and stuff. So
Okay.
when the sun is shining, I usually use my sun visor. So,
Yeah. Okay. What's your favorite car manufacturer?
Hey,
Your favorite car
VW.
manufacturer?
VW.
Definitely.
VW.
Favorite model
Model. Golf.
of all time,
Golf.
not recently.
Golf.
Any specific one, or you just a fan of the range?
No Pacific one. That's a fan GTI.
Fan of the range. Okay. Favorite shopping center in PE?
Sure. Homer Park.
Warmer Park. What was your favorite childhood game?
Getaway Black Monday. I used to play that on my PS2. It was like
Okay.
this guy's name was Mitch. He was
Yeah.
like a cop. And you had to do missions, but you could also free roam ride realistic cars.
Okay.
That was my game at
Okay. If I had to take you like way back, like way back,
back at it.
and I gave you like 1 50-cent coin, you could only play Pac-Man or you could only play Street Fighter, where you going?
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If we had to have a showdown between myself and you, this is something I want to look into in future episodes. We've got some great content coming. If I had to have a showdown with you, let's just say for Street Fighter, which Maniki or Dama are you choosing? Which character are you choosing?
I don't know.
You're not a Street Fighter guy. SNK, King of Fighters.
No. Not me.
Not you. Okay. If we had to go to Gran Turismo or a Need for Speed, what car are you choosing to race me with?
Need for Speed. 2 Underground.
Shoutout,
would say
definitely. Only real ones,
Underground
no?
2, yeah. For me, it was that Mitsubishi, what, Lancer?
Lancer
I
Evo.
used to- Evo, yeah, I used to enjoy that car.
Okay. Cool. What's your favorite gaming console?
I'm not a big gamer. During lockdown, I became somewhat of a gamer, but that was only for lockdown. So console, PS, I guess.
What's your favorite social media platform?
TikTok.
Definitely TikTok.
The videos. I love. Yeah.
So
I
this is
like
where
it.
you scroll and do research.
Scroll before I go to bed or anytime I get. Besides, I didn't scroll now, but I mean like whenever I can. TikTok.
Okay. iPhone or Android?
iPhone. Apple. Apple a day keeps the doctor
You
away.
killed my next question now. Just before we get out of here, I just want you to obviously you've agreed with me that we both have a place dear to heart for the future generations and for people doing their thing while doing their thing in the city. Any shout outs you'd like to give to any individuals, any creators, any places of business, or just people that's out there doing their thing, catching your attention?
Shoutouts. Everyone that's got a hustle, a side hustle. If I have to mention them, they'll probably be here the whole day.
Yeah.
But any photographer, any DJ, any musician,
Yeah.
any MC,
Yeah.
talking out from my personal industry, person that has a shop or business or printing, keep going, like, keep pushing,
Okay.
and never compare yourself to anyone else. Just you focus on your business. So if you are in any of the industries I mentioned, if I didn't mention you, sorry, but if you got whatever you got going on, shout out to you, man.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, I don't know if
And wait,
you-
sorry, but I do need to make mention.
Okay.
The only reason I was able to do this podcast so relaxed is the getaway. Ne? What was my business again? I had my first experience.
Getaway,
today.
yeah.
Getaway.
Oh, you're still having the after
Oh
effects?
my God, I'm still the
Okay.
getaway. Eh? If you're looking, ask me for more details coming to you soon. But I will definitely shout out that business. Really, really.
Oh, you okay? 100%. Before we get out of here, as you just heard, now you actually took the wind out of my sail with this.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He's very good with announcements and
Yeah, I do now. Just for a living, you know.
yeah. So before we get out of here, way back in the day, I was a big WWE fan. Right?
Okay.
We touched on this a little bit later, earlier. Okay, John Cena, GOAT status reached 100%. I'm more of a The Rock and Stone Cold Steve
Yeah,
Austin.
but that's a
This is my
different
era.
era, man. Like I would say, you can't
You
really
can't compare. Yeah.
But they
I
were so
understand.
great that at one point they were the same stage. So
Yeah, you're right. So I'm gonna put you on the spot here now.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing crazy. I want you to take 5 seconds, and I want you to announce me as the person who just beat John Cena at WrestleMania.
What?
Give me an announcement announcing me. I just beat John Cena at WrestleMania. I'm the last champ. This is the last time they're gonna see me. You got 5 seconds to prepare for this.
No way.
Just announce me as the world heavyweight champion.
It's on ETV. Yeah, not that show.
But you have to be.
You
in
just
character now.
want to one,
I just
two,
beat Cena.
3, and your song plays.
Yeah, my song plays.
For the very first time. Can you believe it? Many didn't believe in him, but he believed in himself. Give it up. The new heavyweight champion of the world, Josh the Freak Media.
Hey yo! Thank you very much for your time.
No, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. All the best on your podcast and your
Thank you
journey.
very, very much
Shout
for
out,
coming.
Shout out for the time you spent with me.
Yeah.
Shout out to the man behind the scenes as well, Undefeated Photography. He was here, then he wasn't here, but he is here.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
main
thank you for
thing.
everything.
Okay.
And for the venue, shout out to the venue.
100%.
Appreciate it, man.
All these socials will be linked down below. If you need, oh, sorry. Your social shout out before we get out.
Follow me on TikTok, Executive DJ, Instagram, Executive DJ, YouTube,
Yeah.
Executive DJ, Facebook, Executive DJ Executive. Yeah,
Okay.
the only one I didn't change it, but yeah. Where else am I? That's
So
all.
what can they reach out? What do you do?
Inquiries, bookings, information.
Yeah.
I do it all. So your next baby shower, gender reveal, anything like that, I got you covered.
All right.
DJ. Yeah. In the mix.
Yeah. None of you can win the world heavyweight title. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there. Shot for the announcement. Stay tuned for after the pod. Thanks again, ladies and gents, for tuning in to Brag at Your Brain. Special shout out one more time just for Neighborhood Barn Girls Stanley Street. Thank you so much for the sponsored episode. Thank you guys. We'll speak soon.